Aloha mai kako, everyone. I'm also here to provide sort of the context of the kupuna and the genealogy. So, as with all good organizations in Hawaii that start off sort of like family, and we are all family, we all have disagreements about when things started and who's responsible for what. So let me just set the record straight. Papahānaumoku, Papa, the original ancestor island who emerged from the ocean, really gets credit for starting Papahānaumokuākea, okay? And then we have those guys that sailed from the south that showed up and built these wonderful structures on Mokumanamana and Nihoa in the genealogy, especially with regards to the Polynesian ancestors that came and settled in the islands. Then the genealogy covers some of the discussion that occurred earlier, but I really want to point out and highlight some very, very special people. We would not all be here discussing Papahānaumoku without them. And the first person that I want to acknowledge tonight is Auntie Isabella Abbott. Auntie Izzy, as many know her, is a renowned scholar and scientist who dedicated her life to ethnobotany and whose legacy is broad and deep in connecting science with indigenous knowledge. She's also dedicated the last years of her spry, just enthusiastic life all the way to the end as a member of the council, steadfastly reviewing documents and specimens, including all the facts and statistics contained within the World Heritage nomination for which we're here celebrating tonight. Auntie Izzy, anybody was a student of Auntie Izzy? Raise your hand. There's a few of us out here, okay? Auntie Izzy set high standards and demanded those high standards of us. That's the legacy that she includes in Papa. Another individual who just passed recently and is very, very special, Uncle Buzzy Agard. Uncle Buzzy Agard, the only guy I know that can write a book about his family and politics at the same time. And pull it off, okay? Uncle Buzzy was an amazing guy. I mean, I once asked him, Uncle Buzzy, you crashed a plane, you got up, you bought another plane, and you flew again. Why did you do that? Typical uncle answer, I never like stay home. Right? You know those uncles. We all have them. But Uncle Buzzy also fished the northwestern Hawaiian Islands very, very hard and very, very effectively. And then realized that that wasn't a good thing to do because the stocks weren't recovering as quickly as we thought they would, or as he thought they would. More importantly, Uncle Buzzy had the guts, okay? Because a lot of people can realize things but not have the guts to take on his friends and advocate for protection. Uncle Buzzy was a man that I can only describe as having ike papalua, or a deeper, much deeper understanding of where we connect in the world and what our place in the world is. You have Uncle Erika Anana up there. This guy was the shortest but most powerful guy that you would ever know, and his strength wasn't in his ano. His strength was in his calm, quiet, soft voice, that he could get you to do anything with that soft, calm, quiet voice. Uncle Eddie was gentle but steadfast, and he expected us to remain steadfast in not only the creation but the taking care of Papahānaumokuākea. Uncle Kavika Kapalehua, first captain of Hokulea as it sailed south on the first journey. Uncle Kapalehua would talk about how his uncles would sail from Nihoa to Kauai to gather taro and provisions and then sail to this place that they described as a low, flat, sandy island and spend days up there and then return home. And I've often asked him, Uncle Kavika, because I was the younger guy at that time, and that's your job, right, to ask the questions. Why? Right? How many of you have young folks that ask you why? Enjoy it. Okay. And typical uncle was, oh, for see if they could do them. In those simple terms was, have they acquired the knowledge to successfully navigate to and from a point and come back successfully with no escortship? The wonderful thing about Uncle Kavika Kapalehua was he was the epitome of leadership, but he was always inviting of people to participate in that leadership. He always asked what you thought. And then finally, Uncle Walter Paulo. Those of you who are old-timers will remember the name Makapa'a, because Uncle suffered an eye accident and only had one eye. But his other eye was so good that he was the only person ever allowed to operate a Noah ship having only one eye. And the word that I have for Uncle is great vision. Whether it be in Miloli'i, whether it be on the shores of Waianae, where I come from with kids, whether it be on that ship, sailing across the South Pacific, assisting with other islanders, relatives, he always imparted that wisdom that comes with great vision. These are the foundation. These are the leaders that are the foundation of what we've come to know today as Papahānaumokuākea. These were the trailblazers. These were the folks that had the courage at a time when it wasn't politically correct to do the right thing. And they provided the leadership, they provided the inspiration, they provided the kind words that carried us through those tough times not only in the creation, but the continued management and the continued having to work together with the different sort of jurisdictions. I also want to highlight a soft, quiet, gentle woman who's sitting at the table over there with the pink sort of blouse on. Auntie, your steadfastness, Auntie Laura Thompson, what I remember about Auntie, I always hear this voice in the back of my head. Are we doing it right? Should we be doing it another way? And when it came to, Hawaiian cultural things, she was always one to say, I'm not sure. Maybe we should get another opinion, or let's go find out. And that's a wonderful quality to have in a person because, quite frankly, we often look to elders for all of the answers. And to have an elder say, I don't have that particular answer, go find it. That is a wonderful value, and she's always had that aloha for us. Okay, so I'm going to rattle off a couple of names because these are the folks that I could remember seeing in the crowd. By all means, this is not the entire list, but okay, I know Tim Johns is not here. I know Senator Keith Agaran is not here. Both of these folks, as the previous chairs of the Department of Land and Natural Resources, had a hand in either the creation or the continuation of Papahānaumokuākea. Also the governors. There was a picture of Governor Lingo, Governor Abercrombie, and of course, Governor Ige, continuing the support for Papahānaumokuākea. I know there's Isaac and Tammy Harp. They're somewhere out there in the audience. And these two are the kua'aina of the advisors. They were always asking the hard question coming from that kua'aina viewplane. And we thank you, Isaac and Tammy, even before Papahānaumokuākea, when it was the Northwestern Islands Coral Reef Ecosystem Reserve, and even before that, when this whole sort of initiative started with Tim Johns approving the State Marine Refuge. I don't know if people remember that far back, but the inclusion of state waters first into a refuge and some protection. That's how far back it goes. I think we have Carol Wilcox tonight, we have Dave Rainey, we have Linda Paul, we have Brian Bowen, Gail Gabrowski, Pelika, some of the young folks, Pelika Andrade, yeah, Cindy Hunter. We have a few folks, and I'll take you back down memory lane, a few folks who aren't here. Rick Gaffney, yeah, Stephanie Freed, and Vicky Holt Takamine. Okay, and so my 10 minutes is almost up, but I would like to do this because it's important. We have a 10-year-old child now who's gone through a long conception process, a gestation process, and is undergoing a growing process right now. And she is just getting into her teens and just getting to the point where she can start getting into trouble. And so I just want to acknowledge everyone who has had a part in caring for this child, and your responsibility doesn't stop here, okay? So just remember. So anyone that has been on the Reserve Advisory Committee, please stand. I know there's a bunch of you. Anyone that's been on the Native Hawaiian Working Group, please stay standing. Native Hawaiian Working Group, stand and please stay standing. Anyone that has worked for Fish and Wildlife Service on Papahānaumokuākea. Anyone that has worked in the Sanctuary's office on Papahānaumokuākea. Anyone that has worked for National Marine Fisheries Service, stand, that has worked for Papahānaumokuākea. Anyone that has worked for the NOAA Ocean Service, I thought I saw somebody in uniform earlier, please stand. Anyone that has worked for the Department of Land and Natural Resources on this project, please stand. Anyone that's worked for the Office of Hawaiian Affairs on this project, on Papahānaumoku, please stand. Any scientists in the room that have done any studies up in Papahānaumokuākea and have led to the increase in knowledge, please stand. And then, of course, Mrs. Aila, you stand because you've been to almost every RAC meeting and I've had the excitement of being part of this birthing, rearing process, okay? These are all the people that have responsibility for Papahānaumokuākea. These are all the people that continue to have responsibility for Papahānaumokuākea. And I would like to acknowledge one more person. She's hiding in the back here. Let me get her to come up. Aulani. Okay, I can say that I've been there, and nobody can deny that because I've been there. There is nobody who has put more blood, more sweat, and more tears for Papahānaumokuākea. Yo? And the genealogy of Papahānaumokuākea.